Qu'en est-il de jeu par rapport au Canada?
C'est vrai qu'on avait en tête la défaite face au Canada et c'est surtout qu'on n'avait pas réussi à mettre notre jeu et à retrouver notre état d'esprit face à cette équipe. Donc notre philosophie face à la Nouvelle-Zélande, c'était vraiment de pouvoir mettre en place notre jeu, jouer libéré et surtout jouer simple, vite et fort qui est notre devise. Et tout simplement de retrouver notre ADN sur le terrain en agressant l'équipe adverse.
Votre esprit de l'équipe changé depuis la dernière semaine. Comment l'avez-vous changé l'esprit aujourd'hui?
On s'est beaucoup parlé, on s'est dit les choses. Après, maintenant, il fallait qu'on le prouve sur le terrain, il fallait que ça passe par des actes. Et aujourd'hui, je pense qu'on a prouvé qu'on pouvait rivaliser face à des nations comme celle-ci.
Merci. Avec le beaucoup de blessures de jouer et indispensabilité de jouer sec en raison de la qualification olympique européenne, à quel point la préparation de ce tour a-t-elle été difficile?
Non, parce qu'on le savait, ça fait un petit moment que les setistes, on ne les aurait pas. Parce que même si elles étaient qualifiées, il fallait aussi que les filles puissent récupérer. Donc on avait préparé il y a déjà pas mal de temps une liste où effectivement on avait 2 voire 3 joueuses qui ne font pas le World Series qui allaient venir avec nous. Mais on le savait, ça fait déjà un petit moment.
Quels ajustements avez-vous apportés à l'entraînement pour gagner aujourd'hui?
Je crois que c'était surtout sur notre état d'esprit où on n'avait pas été performante parce qu'on avait perdu beaucoup de ballons en contact, ça veut dire qu'on ne s'était pas préparé, on ne se déplaçait pas, on ne sprintait pas. Donc on a vraiment travaillé là-dessus, sur les comportements, les attitudes qu'on devait avoir. Quand on joue des nations comme celles qui sont présentes sur ce tournoi, on ne peut pas se permettre d'être à 98%, il faut qu'on soit à 100%. Et aujourd'hui, on a montré que quand on est à 100%, on est capable de montrer quelque chose et d'être performante.
Tough at the office today, obviously not the result you were after, but thoughts on today's performance?
Yeah, look, I thought we were a bit flat at the start, and I thought France played with a lot of energy, and they got some momentum and put us under a lot of pressure in that first half. And I thought the way we finished the half was pretty solid. However, we just didn't have that same energy and tactical awareness in the start of the second half.
Do you take some solace out of the fact that France have been together for a while with the Six Nations tournament? You guys are still building, coming together. It was close in the end.
Oh, look, I wouldn't make any excuses like that. At the end of the day, there was 2 international teams out there, and I thought France defended really well. They played with a lot of energy and a lot of desire throughout that game, and they deserved their win.
And what do you take out of this game for your looking ahead to England?
We just got to get better.
You've had the best scrum in the competition so far, and you're going to come up against another great scrum in England. How does France prepare you for that? Because they definitely went out there and played very hard in the scrummage today.
Yeah, look, the scrummage is a bit of a mess a couple of times, but we just prepare each week for the opposition we're playing against. Everyone has their own tactics that they try and use around their scrummaging, and we just got to make sure that we do our homework there and analyse those thoroughly, and have some strategies in place to ensure that we handle that.
Immediately, what are your major work-ons from this game?
Oh, look, I thought we needed to be a bit more polished with finishing. We've certainly got to be able to go 80 with a lot of energy, and we've got to understand how to control the momentum of the game. And then there was a couple of soft tries there. One from a missed penalty kick to the sideline that should have been defended every day of the week, but it wasn't. So we'll go back, have a look at all that stuff, and regroup and look forward to the next match.
Looking at this game, what do you think you did well versus what do you think you didn't?
I think we've been working on starting the game right away, and I think we did that really well. Coming at half without having let England score was huge for us. Our defensive line speed and all that was really top-notch, so proud of the girls for that.
How have you worked on your physical intensity over the last, I would say, 6 months coming into this series? Played the Black Ferns really tough, then turned the screws on France, and then pretty close here, really physical against England.
Yeah, I think it's a mindset for us. We don't get together often, so we're really trying to use all these minutes to build up players that are new in the program, and then obviously giving some vets some leadership out there. So we just have to go in these games with the same mindset as we go into the France game and be physical. And I think we can be maybe a bit meaner out there. Our reputation, Canadians, are a bit too nice sometimes, so we're working on that.
Simon Middleton, a narrow win for your side today. What do you make of your team's performance?
I thought from a character point of view and finding a way to win, we were world class for that part. I mean, lots of bits that we were world class at, but the girls will be the first ones to put their hands up and lots of things to work on. But lots of changes in the side and people playing in different positions and combinations. So we always knew it was going to be a tough game. And Canada have been absolutely outstanding in this competition. I think they gave New Zealand a fantastic game, and they absolutely put the French away, who have beaten New Zealand today. So it's a great competition for a start. But I think to get a result against these is a massive result for us, because they're the side really on the rise, and we showed fantastic character to close the game out.
And just speak on that character as well. 5-0 down at half time, 12-0 down after a couple of minutes in the second half, and then to score 19 points and to close out the end. Real spirit shown by your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And we spoke about it at half time, and we were trying hard to get into a groove, but we weren't physical enough at the contact. Or we probably were. It wasn't much physical. We didn't have enough intent at the contact. And one thing about the Canadians, like the USA, they're a really physical side, but these are really well organised as well. And technically, they're really good now. And we just couldn't get the ball off them. Their ability to keep the ball was fantastic. So we had to work for everything. And I thought it was a real squad effort, because we got ourselves back into the game by showing good character, and then we were able to introduce a couple of probably more experienced players onto the park. We've got Leanne Riley on, and we've got Scars onto the field, and in the forwards we've got Poppy on, and our front row came on and did a great job. And and that's what it's about. It's a squad effort. In tournaments like this, when you come against tough teams in short turnarounds, you need everybody, and everybody got as a result today.
And Sarah Hunter spoke about it being a team performance in the forwards, particularly in that second half, but her dotting down on 114th cap, and that experience she shows, just brilliant performance from herself.
Yeah, she's unflappable, isn't she? And she makes great decisions at the right time on the field, and then she backs them up with her actions. And we're blessed to have her. She's fantastic. She gets better and better as a player. But she'll be the first to say she's really ably supported by the other members of the team. We got a leadership group out there who are guiding us around the field. But it was just a great squad effort today, and everybody bought in and everybody gave everything they could, and we've beaten an extremely good Canada side.
And 2 from 2 going into the final 2 games, a nice platform to go into the final couple of matches of this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar to a pool stage of a World Cup, and I just said to Sarah on the field at the end, that game for us, that result in itself, because we want to concentrate on performance, but ultimately when you're in competitions, you've got to get the results, and that, if we hadn't have won that game, the pressure then that puts on you for the next games, when you've got France and New Zealand to come, it becomes immense. And when you're in competition, you're trying to manage pressure all the time, and our actions, particularly in that second half or the last 30 minutes of the game, will help us to manage the pressure that's on us going into the next game. And France, they've done a great job on New Zealand today, so it's going to be a great game. It always is against the French.
Brilliant, thank you very much. All good for you?
Cool.
Yeah. Thank you, cheers mates.
All right.
Simon, before the tour, you talked about wanting to look at this group of games as a time to build consistency, but you also had some key injuries with some young players like Jessica Breach, needing to bring in some more young players and debutantes. How have you been able to manage and create that consistency within that?
Well, I think we saw quite a few of those today. We had a back line that had never played together before. We got Claudine McDonald who's playing at scrum half, who's only got a couple of caps, and we've got Zoe Harrison who's still learning her trade at 10, and then Caris Williams on the wing who's only got a few caps. Same with Kelly Smith on the other. Kelly's done fantastically well for us and scored a great try again today. So really young back line in particular. So that's a great experience for them to be able to turn the game around like that, and stay in the fight, and that's what Test match rugby is about. You want to play well, you want to have a great performance, but performance comes in different shapes and forms. And our performance today was, first of all, probably defensively we were very good. When we had to hang in the game, and then from a point of view of how to get back into a game and show the character you need to, and then to close out a game. When we had about 3 minutes on the clock, And we had to run the clock down, and we had to take a lot of responsibility with the ball, and we didn't let Canada have it. And you know, they couldn't get another opportunity because there's good enough side to take it if we had given it. So yeah, you know, just invaluable experience for lots of players, and still a couple more games to come. Everybody's had a game now. Everybody knows that, you know, it's very much game on in terms of the competition. Everybody's beating everybody. So you know, us against France to come. For us, fantastic, and then obviously, you know, New Zealand to finish, but we certainly won't be looking any further than France for the next 5 days.
Talked about playing with physical intent in the forwards, and when did that switch turn on against Canada so that the team basically took over eventually?
I think half time. We talked, you know, we talked about a couple of things in defence and a couple of things in attack. What I said to the players was none of that would make any difference whatsoever if we were getting beat to the contact area and beating all the physical confrontations, which we were doing in the first half. And that just comes down to intent, because, you know, it's about how you commit yourself to that. And I just think we just didn't match up to where they were in terms of their urgency to the ball, and we came out second half. We had a really good start to the second half in terms of we ended up with a penalty against us, but we had a good passage of play where we won some good contacts, we produced some clean ball, and that got us into the game, and then we were in the fight then. And then we got that setback from, you know, a ball that's gone down, we've put down in their 22 and they've gone full length and scored. It'd be easy to drop his heads at that point, but we hung tough and stayed in the fight, and the girls worked the way in. And I always knew that, you know, if we could get enough control of the ball, we had enough experience and enough technical ability on the field to get a result, and that's sort of how it turned out in the end.